What are some things that I wish I knew before starting my first mural? Stay tuned to the end while I share the 3 things I wish I knew before starting. Hi, I'm Jenny Famularo-Cano. Thank you for being a part of my channel where I help creative professionals and graphic designers organize their ideas and projects. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the mural that I have painted right behind me. It's a new addition to my studio and I'm very excited about it. We had just painted this mural this past Thanksgiving. It took approximately 824 days from the time we moved in to actually painting the mural. So it took us about 2 years. It took me only 1 day. So these are the things that I wish I knew before starting. Just as a disclaimer, this video is intended for people who are looking to paint their own artwork in their own homes. This is not any sort of advice for anyone who is working as a professional muralist. There's a little bit more information that probably comes with that. One of the things that you definitely need to know is your wall information. Most people think of a giant space for a mural and how big the wall is. You don't need to think about like the ones that are definitely outdoors, but just having some sort of wall space and having an understanding of the dimensions that you're working with can help you have a better understanding of your limitations with the amount of paint you need to purchase. I also would recommend taking note of the different objects that you have in your room, any furniture that's going to be a mainstay in that room. Great to be mindful of any windows. And in my studio, I actually had my mural kind of lead into the direction of the window and kind of acknowledge where the window is. So make sure to highlight one of the features in the room that you are painting in. Another thing to be mindful of when looking for a wall to paint a mural is maybe you might want to take it with you. A good option for you might be taking some wood and creating a canvas, but having a mural actually be able to travel with you is a really great option because I remember my very first mural, we had painted it in our office space and unfortunately we had moved out. So now the mural is gone or painted over. I actually don't know what happened to it. We just weren't able to enjoy it anymore and that's a bummer, but there's always another mural to make. Some other things that you probably should know is the type of paint you're going to use. So I would encourage you to invest in some nice paint. The paint that we used in my very first mural was definitely cheaper because I thought, hey, no big deal. We can just use this cheap paint. No big deal, right? It's cool. This was for a dark navy. That paint actually took 3-4 layers to be even solid on the wall, which was really disheartening and it took so much longer, and that could have all been avoided if we had used a better paint. If you're transitioning from working digitally to a mural, it's gotta be like a good solid paint because you need to have those very crisp lines whenever you're painting on the wall. And then just a quick thing, when you're painting in the room, have a little cup on hand and like a brush that I already had on hand and that was able to fill in the details. So I didn't find too much complications with the type of paintbrush I used. So another thing that I wish I had known before painting is talent, or actually confidence level in this case. And the reason why I say confidence level is because there is definitely a level of risk that comes from painting a mural. Any project that has a level of risk makes it a little bit scarier to do or take under or to do confidently, especially if it's going to be in your house. You're going to have to live with it on a regular basis and see it very frequently. So there's a lot of pressure on making it be successful. Ways that you can minimize the amount of risk. Normally tend to do this by experience, and I understand that most people probably don't have the amount of space to practice doing murals in their own home. So some other ways that I've learned for minimizing the amount of risk is like using the tools that we have on hand. Whenever I do any of my murals, I use a projector that I borrowed from my sister that I have forgotten to return for the past 5 years. And so I've used this projector, like connect to my laptop and project directly onto the wall, trace over that so that I have a pencil laid directly onto the wall. I use that to paint with the colors that I need to. And this has been very effective because it's very scary to draw at a very large scale, maintain the same proportions and the same lines that you'd like to. So this helps minimize any sort of risk or any sort of like mistakes that you might make, because if your drawing is good, then the translation will be. Another way you can approach this is by using things that could be a little bit more analog. My husband Lucas actually created a compass compass. He created a compass by attaching a string to a pencil and drawing a circle based off that pivot point. So that became a very perfect circle, and then that's what he filled in. And he didn't need a projector for that. It was a very simple shape. It's very minimal and very clean, and he didn't need a projector or any sort of drawing abilities. It was just using the tools that he had available to him. Another way that you can help minimize the risk when it comes to painting a mural is drawing a little small version of what you have. And what I like to do is just taking a picture of the space that I would be doing and drawing that directly in Photoshop or Procreate, or even printing that out and drawing directly on that, so that you can kind of have practice of what it's going to look like and have a better idea of the space and what it looks like with the furniture and the windows. One of our friends actually created a mural during the pandemic, and it was really great to see her progress. Some of her advice when it comes to doing a mural for the very first time is have fun experimenting with colors and palettes, because you can always paint over it if you find a different combination that you like. And this is very important to know, that if you're painting your own mural in your own home, that you call the shots. There are no limitations, and you can totally be equipped for success. Let me know in the comments below how you're doing, if you are ready to take that next step for your mural. I hope you are. I know you can do it. Make sure to subscribe if you are a creative professional looking to organize your ideas. I will see you in the next video.